I was having y'all. It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and man, oh man, it feels good to finally have one of the better left tackles out of the entire NFL, arguably a top 3 tackle in the NFL. We're gonna dive into it. Blockbuster trade, arguably the biggest trade so far, even today with all of the chaos that's going on. This is arguably the biggest trade because the Texans sent a 5-time Pro Bowler to the Washington Commanders for a package of draft picks. We're going to dive into exactly what those picks are, what picks the Commanders have remaining after the trade, 2025 and 2026 wise, because we had to throw in some 2026 stuff in there as well. But how good is Laremy Tunsil? Of course, I have advanced stats. I'm going to break down exactly how this offensive line will look in 2025 with Laremy Tunsil now in at left tackle. What happens with Brandon Coleman? Oh, I can't wait to dive into all of it. We got to talk about our chances of potentially trading back from the 29th overall pick in the first round now as well. Oh, we're about to get to it, man. We're just getting started. I'll talk about Javon Kinlaw later. Of course, I'm gonna do an update on that, but this was so ridiculous. This is our biggest move so far this entire offseason. Had to talk about this first. Of course, we'll talk about guys leaving like Jeremy Chin and Dyami Brown for the ridiculous money that Dyami Brown got. Out of the way, we're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff in like another video, but for this video, purely Laremy Tunsil. Before we get into everything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Of course, again, I am your one-stop shop for everything burgundy and gold, so best believe everything that happens, I will be doing a video on it. Again, I'm even going to update y'all on the players that we lost out on that were a part of the 2024 Commanders like Jeremy Chin and Dyami Brown. I will update y'all on everything, but especially all of the trades that we're making, the signings, and any rumors that we're attached to as well. You know what I'm saying? Some players that are still available out there that maybe the Commanders may be interested in. We'll dive into some of those in another video, maybe later on today as well. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm gonna have y'all updated with every little thing as soon as it happens. Without further ado, let's go and dive into this video right now, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so again, and this is reported by everybody. All of the top reporters are this is like the talk of the town right now. The trade for Texans left tackle Laremy Tunsil, 5-time Pro Bowler, getting sent to the Commanders for a package of draft picks. Everybody's talking about it. Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, anybody that's a reporter is like in awe of this trade. It's that massive. If you're a Commanders fan, you should be very excited about this trade. I know early on, you know what I'm saying, the legal tampering period started at 12 p.m. It was a little underwhelming. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Javon Kinlaw. Again, I'm going to do a video on him after this, and of course, I'm going to break down why you should potentially be excited about him. Now, I didn't necessarily was not screaming, let's go get Javon Kinlaw in free agency, but my goal of that video will be to kind of like convince you, okay, see it glass half full this way. This is why you should be optimistic about this move and how he could potentially help our defense. I see us even moving him to edge rusher instead of playing defensive tackle, being a bigger edge rusher rather than a smaller defensive tackle. We'll get there though, because we have a big run stopping issue. I think they think Javon Kinlaw is the fix to that. We'll get to that later. But this Laremy Tunsil trade should be a unanimous celebration amongst the Commanders fan base. I feel like I shouldn't even have to do that much to convince you why this trade is amazing for the Commanders, but I promise you I'm gonna do everything that I can just in case. If you think it's good, I'm gonna tell you why it's great. If you think it's great, I'm gonna tell you why it's elite. If you think it's elite already, I'm going to tell you why this was the best trade made all offseason. And of course, we even have Texans fans. We're going to talk about that later because they're highly upset about this trade. You know you're doing something right when you trade with another team and the other team's fans are highly upset. They're sick to their stomach. You know you did something right. So the full trade terms for this trade, Texans get our 2025 third rounder, 2025 7th rounder, and our 2026 second rounder and 2026 fourth rounder as well, whereas we get Laremy Tunsil and a 2025 4th rounder. So now after all of that, first of all, Shouts out to Tay and Todd Podcast because he brings up a good point. Adam Peters must have dirt on all other NFL GMs because it's ridiculous on some of these moves that we've made. I mean, a lot of people feel like Deebo Samuel for a fifth-round pick was a steal, especially since he's only like $5 million against the cap in 2025 with the way that they exercised his option, the way that they finessed his contract with some void years. Deebo Samuel went for a fifth-round pick and is only hitting us for $5 million worth of cap space in 2025 right now. It's insane. And then on top of that, to get rid of Sam Howell for more value than any other quarterback taken in that entire draft class, and Sam Howell was taken in the fifth round, to get a third for Jahan Dotson, but to get Deebo Samuel for a fifth. Like, I mean, Adam Peters, I don't know how he's doing it, but I'm happy to have him on our side because, man, I would be sad if I had to watch another team doing what we're doing right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, especially if I'm a fan of an NFC East team and I'm not an Eagles fan that already has Howie Roseman, I'm a Giants or a Cowboys fan and I'm watching the Eagles doing what they're doing and the Commanders do what we just did, especially after the season we just had. Oh, I'm scared if I'm a Giants or a Cowboys fan. It was all fun when the Rabbit had the gun a few years ago when y'all were the teams that were having the most fun. Now it's completely flipped. Now it's the Eagles and the Commanders on top. And hey, Eagles, hey, watch out. We're coming for y'all. We're clearly building a roster to counter what y'all do. You have a great defensive line. Well, how about we build one of the best offensive lines in all of the NFL? We're gonna get to y'all later. But again, shouts out to Adam Peters. I don't know if he has dirt on other GMs. I don't exactly know how he's doing it. But again, I'm really happy to have him on our side. And that's now 2 trades within just the past couple of weeks. Remember, we were the very first trade that ever happened in the NFL this offseason. Ever since the Super Bowl happened, we were the first trade to kick everything off, and then chaos ensues. So honestly, we're the trendsetters for everything that's going on. It's only right that we come back and have arguably one of the most impactful, massive, and arguably the best trade out of all trades that have happened this offseason. We were the first, and you may even argue that this one is the best. But also, that's 2 trades now for All-Pro Deebo Samuel and one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL in Laremy Tunsil. And so I would feel like easily our best left tackle since Trent Williams left by far. But my main point is Adam Peters is being very aggressive. You know, he loves to build through the draft. That guy's over here saying what picks? You know what I'm saying? This is typically the guy that, hey, I want as many draft picks as I could get going into drafts and things like that. Now he's like, what picks? I'm trying to get an elite left tackle to protect my elite quarterback. Forget that. And so I just love the fact that even as much as he loves to build through the draft with a young core, he's doing whatever it takes to win right now. But also, he's still building towards the future at the same time because Laremy Tunsil at 30 years old is still building towards the future. Now, I also want to update y'all on all of our draft picks that we have remaining right now. So after that, for 2025 wise, just alone, we're going to talk about 2026 a little later, but 2025 wise alone, we still have our first round pick, 29th overall, still have our second round pick, 61st overall, a fourth round pick, 127th, a sixth round pick, 207th, and a seventh round pick, 250th. So there you go. Those are our draft picks that we have for the 2025 draft. Still enough that if you want to make another trade, you know what I'm saying, Trey Hendrickson, nudge, you still got that second round pick right there. But we'll discuss that later, probably in another video in more detail. But also, how about contract wise? How does he affect our cap space? Well, Laremy Tunsil brings over 2 years and a $42.6 million contract with him. So 2025, he has $21.3 million. Only $10 million is guaranteed, and in 2026, $21.3 million, and none of that is guaranteed. So if for some insane reason that he still doesn't look like one of the best left tackles in the NFL, and I would be shocked if he doesn't look like one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL for like at least the next 5 years with the way that left tackles age compared to other position groups like running back and things like that, I would be shocked. But just in case, no guaranteed money in 2026, which is the reason that you were able to cut Jonathan Allen this year and be okay with it, because you got $6.3 million in return in cap space savings, and you could do that with him. But that's like a potential out. That's a break glass in case of emergency situation. I highly doubt we'll reach that situation. Laremy Tunsil is a dog. If you don't believe me, go look at his top 100 countdown. Like, you know, when the NFL votes on like the top 100 players they do on NFL Network, watch what other NFL players have to say about Laremy Tunsil. That should do all of the work for itself. You shouldn't even have to see me break it down, but I promise you, we're going to break it down. Also, the Texans take on $15 million worth of dead cap for the trade, but they ultimately saved almost $14 million worth of cap space. So maybe the Texans are trying to make some moves. They wanted more draft draft picks. They wanted more cap space to, see whatever they're trying to do. Now, let's talk about how good Laremy Tunsil is. Well, I feel like good is a huge understatement, but we'll just start there. I mean, now Jaden Daniels has one of the best pass blocking left tackles in the entire NFL. This guy, since 2021, only has a 3.3% allowed pressure rate. Insane. He had 7 games with 0 pressures allowed in 2024, which some people consider a down year for him. He had 7 games with 0 pressures allowed, and only Lane Johnson had more with 8 out of all tackles in the NFL. He also had an 88.6 Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade in 2024, which was ranked 4th out of all tackles again. And what people consider a down year, and thank goodness people consider it a down year, because you're not able to trade for Laremy Tunsil for what we gave the Texans for him if people don't consider him having a down year last year, even though that's still way better than anything we've gotten out of a left tackle literally since Trent Williams left, and I definitely expect him to bounce back. We'll get to that later. But shouts out to Mitchell Tisler. He said elite left tackles just don't grow on trees. I didn't have this on my bingo card, but having a guy that can live on an island helps the entire offensive line and blocking scheme. We don't have to keep a guy to chip like we do with like Andrew Wiley on the right side. We used to have to do that on the left side with Brandon Coleman as well. We would have to like leave a receiver or a tight end to help chip, help double team some of the edge rushers we block. Laremy Tunsil, you can leave on the island and completely devote all of the rest of your resources to helping the other 4 guys. And then Mitchell Tisler also brings up, it allows the tight end and running back help to be allocated elsewhere. This is an enormous move and helps this offense in so many ways. This is a trickle-down effect on how much better he'll make this entire offense. It's not just him. He's going to be way better than anything we've had at left tackle since Trent Williams alone, but that's also going to make everybody else around him better just because of the fact that, again, tight ends, receivers, running backs, instead of help chipping whatever the edge rusher that the left tackle is blocking like that to do last year with Brandon Coleman at times, now they can go help somebody else, or they could just immediately start their route and get open quicker for Jaden Daniels. It's just so many possibilities as to why this helps us. Shouts out the Commanders round. He said a draft haul for a 30-year-old left tackle reinforces the notion that they are ready to win right now and don't view any long-term project as a vital position, especially, as optimal. Laremy Tunsil is the best of the best. I agree. Shouts out to Ryan Fowler. He said that Laremy Tunsil immediately becomes left tackle 1 in Washington, and a move to right tackle or right guard is expected for Brandon Coleman. We're going to get to that later. Tunsil immediately becomes the most talented tackle Washington has had since Trent Williams easily. Probably not even close. And then a newfound blindside protectant for Jaden Daniels. Heck of an ad from General Manager Adam Peters, whose focus is clearly centered around the trenches with Kinlaw and now Tunsil. I mean, again, we've been screaming. Now, maybe a lot of people don't like Javon Kinlaw specifically, but we've been screaming ever since we lost the NFC Championship game, especially the way that we did, or even just going back to the regular season. The Eagles were dominating the NFL through the trenches. They had arguably the best defensive line in football, and they had literally the best defensive line in football. And that's how they just basically went smooth sailing all the way through to a Super Bowl victory. Even the Super Bowl looked easy for them. You know why? Because their trenches were dominant. You couldn't stop their run. You couldn't get to Jalen Hurts. And meanwhile, Pat Mahomes is running for his life and throwing the most interceptions I've ever seen him throw in a game because the Eagles were dominant in the trenches. So the Commanders, the strategy was, okay, bet. Eagles, that's how y'all want to play? Y'all want to be dominant in the trenches? All right, we're going to get way better in the trenches. We may not necessarily be dominant yet, even though I think our offensive line has top 10 floor, top 5 ceiling, maybe even better than that, but we still got to figure out the defensive line. We're not done there yet, but the point is we're moving towards the goal of getting way better in the trenches so we have a chance against the Eagles. If you want to win a Super Bowl, which is right now, we're in a Super Bowl contending window right now, especially with Jaden Daniels playing like a top 5 quarterback and he's still on his rookie deal. You're trying to win now. And you have to go through the Eagles. We have to play those guys 2 to 3 times, it seems like, at least right now. Twice in the regular season, and you're going to have to go through them in the playoffs, whether it be wild card, divisional. NFC Championship, you're gonna have to go through the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl and then to try to win one. You have to do whatever it takes to be able to beat the Eagles, to be better than the Eagles. I mean, again, like I said, it's gonna probably take us like 2-3 years to, like, if you exclude quarterback, to be better than the Eagles top to bottom roster wise. But I think Jaden Daniels is enough better than Jalen Hurts to where if you just get them the right trenches, offensive line, defensive line, you can get a defense that can create turnovers. You can create an offense that can protect them, and you have them you added some weapons, especially with Deebo Samuel probably not done there as well. I think Jaden Daniels is enough better than Jalen Hurts to where we could beat the Eagles this upcoming year. Will we be better than them top to bottom entire roster? Not necessarily, but that's why you have an X factor in Jaden Daniels. That's why we're so excited about him, because he's enough of a difference himself. He just needs a little bit of help. They were selling him in the NFC Championship game. Either way, going back to Laremy Tunsil before that rant I just went on, shouts out to Pro Football Focus. When they rated their top 101 players from the 2024 season, of course, Laremy Tunsil made the list. They said Tunsil continues to showcase what a premier pass protector looks like at left tackle. And they said he had 88.6 Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade, which ranks sixth in the NFL during the regular season, highlighted by an impressive 98.9 pass blocking efficiency rating, only second to Tampa Bay's Tristan Wirfs out of all tackles in the entire NFL. And then when they did the list in 2023, they said that he's straight up one of the best pass protectors in all of football. Tunsil had another excellent year. In the new offense, he allowed only 23 quarterback pressures in 16 games and had 5 perfect games of pass protection despite playing more than 600 pass blocking snaps on the year. And let's just talk about since 2022 specifically. Just going back to 2022 through 2024, he has a 3.1% pressure rate allowed. That's third best among all offensive tackles in the entire league. He also has a 91.7 pass blocking grade since 2022. So again, 2022 through 2024, the second best pass blocking grade out of all tackles in the NFL. Like, we're literally talking about a top 3 tackle in the NFL, y'all. And you didn't even have to give up a first round pick to do it. I mean, you had to give up a collection of picks, but you still keep your first and your second round pick in this upcoming draft. And you were able to get that is insane. Shouts out to Ben Solik. He said Tunsil took a step back in 2024. Again, I mean, whatever you call a step back is, I mean, I guess you can argue maybe he went from top 3 left tackle to top 5, top 7 left tackle last year. But then Ben Solik also says that the Commanders are betting that he can recover to his 2023 level on a more functional offensive line, which is a reasonable assumption. He's saying that if you just take Laremy Tunsil off both the Texans and the Commanders offensive line, the Commanders offensive line is better, and he's expecting that we'll get more 2021, 2022, 2023 Laremy Tunsil more so than 2024 Laremy Tunsil, just off of the fact that he's going to have better offensive linemen next to him, around him, a better offensive coordinator, all of that type of stuff. And then he finished it by saying big move. So again, what people consider a down year for Laremy Tunsil is an elite year for what we're used to from left tackles here since Trent Williams left. And then a lot of people, including Ben Solik, and I mean, you check anybody that's talking about it right now, they feel like if anything, he's going to be even better than what he was in whatever people perceive to be his down year because of the environment that he's joining right now with the Commanders. And then also Linnell Willingham brings up a good point as well. Trading for Tunsil is a 2-for-1 special because Coleman now upgrades you at another position, whether it be right tackle or guard. Pick your poison. This is how you beat Philly. I completely agree, which takes me on to my next part of the video, the offensive line. Now, you could tell something was on the way. You could just tell that, like, you know, you're reading through the smoke, wherever the fire's coming from and things like that, because, like, when Adam Peters was very non-committal, talking about Brandon Coleman as far as which position he'll play in 2025, when Adam Peters was directly asked about that at the combine just a couple of weeks ago, he refused to say the exact position. He just said that we're really excited about Brandon Coleman, kept it very general, very ambiguous. And there were all sorts of reports that we were trying to sign Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens before he re-signed with the Ravens. So they clearly felt like we needed a left tackle. Now they got one. And not only did they get one, they got a top 3, at worst, top 5 tackle in the NFL. Also, shouts out to Tiger Munn. Great point. If I'm Jaden Daniels, Adam Peters is getting a Christmas card. 5th round pick for Deebo Samuel, a great weapon, a way better weapon than anybody outside of Terry McLaurin than Jaden Daniels had last year. And you just got him a franchise left tackle, one of the best left tackles in all of football, man. Jaden Daniels has to be so happy. You brought back Zach Ertz, his second leading receiver. Oh, and it's only going to get better from here. We're not done. And also, shouts out to Jordan at Washington today. He said, bro, the O-line just got so much better. Imagine when Cosme comes back healthy too. I'm telling you. And so, how I see it right now, Laremy Tunsil at left tackle and Tyler Biadasz at center are automatics, locks, set in stone. But then, these were the debates come in. I'm thinking that maybe we move Brandon Coleman to left guard because I believe he has Pro Bowl, maybe even all-pro potential there. Like I've said, I like Brandon Coleman at left tackle. I think he could be a pretty good, solid left tackle, but I feel like guard, based off of his measurables, his athleticism, and really when you literally watch the tape, he would be way better in a phone booth. His main problem at left tackle was the fact that he wasn't in a phone booth. He had to cover so much ground. That's why he was struggling. If you keep Brandon Coleman in a small amount of space, I don't see anybody getting past him in the run game or the passing game. So, again, I think Brandon Coleman has Pro Bowl, all-pro potential at left guard. I think he is a good left tackle, and left tackle is a more premium position, but that's the balance between positional value and ceiling with this guy like we talked about a couple of videos ago. Brandon Coleman's ceiling ultimately is for him to be a guard because that's where he could become the best version of him. If I had to bet money that Brandon Coleman could ever make an all-pro team, it would be at guard, not left tackle. And so he and Cosme, when healthy, when Cosme comes back, would make for literally the most athletic guard duo in the entire NFL easily. Then Nick Allegretti probably starts at right guard for you until your Pro Bowl guard Samuel Cosme is 100% ready to start. So then you move Nick Allegretti to your backup swing guard, interior offensive lineman, like a Wes Schweitzer, and then you just leave Andrew Wiley at right tackle. He's good there. Kingsbury did a great job of making sure that the scheme masked some of Wiley's weaknesses last year. He's solid at right tackle as long as Cliff Kingsbury is our offensive coordinator. And that's a top 10 offensive line as a floor, in my opinion, right there, with a top 5 ceiling, I feel like. As long as Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator, I'm perfectly fine with Andrew Wiley at right tackle. Kingsbury leaves, yeah, unless we're about to bring in another genius that's willing to, accommodate for his offensive lineman's individual weaknesses, then yeah, maybe we need to move on from Wiley then. But right now, with Kingsbury at offensive coordinator, I'm telling y'all, Andrew Wiley is just fine. And then also shouts out to Linnell Willingham. He said Brandon Coleman is going to be an all-pro guard in a few years. I would not put him at right tackle. I agree. Leave Wiley at tackle. He's good there. Put Brandon Coleman at left guard, bro. I'm telling you, that's his highest ceiling. Now, how about some opinions and closing thoughts, especially from other people, but I have a few as well. Shouts out to Tiger Munn, because he said the Commanders are dead serious this offseason. This is one of those moves that can skyrocket this team, and the draft hasn't even happened yet. I'm telling you, we're not done. Also, I want to point out the fact that this move is building for now and like the Super Bowl run that we're about to go on in 2025, and also the future as well, with Tunsil firmly in his prime at 30 years old, which is a great age for a left tackle. I mean, we shouldn't have to worry about left tackle for at least another 4 or 5 years, and when you have an elite quarterback and a great to elite left tackle, everything else tends to fall in place. I mean, those are 2 of the 3 most premium positions in all of the sport, and you're really good, great elite at those 2 for at least the next 3-4 years. I mean, if I had to start with a team, you had to tell me, hey man, you getting a top 5 quarterback and a top 5 left tackle, how you feeling? I would be ecstatic, especially with Laremy Tunsil only being 30, Jaden Daniels only going into his 2nd year of his contract of entering the NFL. We're good to go for a very long time, but I also feel like we're very competitive and can win right now at the same time. I feel like it's a perfect blend and combination that Adam Peters is doing right now. I keep telling y'all, let Adam Peters cook. Also, shouts out to DC Rising. He said, we have a luxury right now. Elite quarterback on a rookie deal. Why would we just sit around for 3 years and save draft picks for the future? Like, no, bro, we're trying to win in the next 3 years. These opportunities don't come around often. Need to take advantage of the fact that we have Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract while he's playing like a top 5 quarterback. That's when your Super Bowl window is at its biggest. And also, again, like I mentioned earlier, like I foreshadowed, Yo, Texans fans are sick right now. On their side, I mean, I have absolutely no idea why the Texans accepted this trade. This is a trade that I'm almost sure if I would have sent it through Madden, the Texans would have said no. And you know it's a great trade for us, Commanders fans, when Texans fans are highly upset on the internet right now. Like, shouts out to Brett Coleman. I love his opinion. I trust him. And he's sick. I mean, the first tweet that he said was no, please God, no. So many no's. And then after that, once it finally sunk in that this was actually happening, he said it's a bad tackle draft class this year and you're picking in the 20s. But yeah, sure, let's just trade a guy in the middle of his prime because he false starts a little bit. It's 1 p.m. and these people already having me cracking a bottle of red. Texans fans are going through it, and I feel for Brett Coleman because he's a good guy and I trust his opinion when it comes especially to football and draft evaluation stuff. But as a Texans fan, he's sick about this, which means as Commanders fans, we should be equally as excited about it. I mean, for sure, trading back, I'm telling you right now, I'm thinking we're traded back from 29 in the first round. I mean, I already thought that it was very likely even before this trade, but now I would be shocked if we didn't. Now you've traded a 5th round pick for Deebo Samuel. You gave up all of those draft picks for Laremy Tunsil. I would be surprised if we do not trade back from the first round. I mean, Adam Peters loves draft picks and building through the draft. So one, that just shows how much they love Laremy Tunsil. Adam Peters puts a high premium and value on draft picks. The fact that he was willing to give up his draft picks that he loves to get Laremy Tunsil shows you how high this organization is on him. And two, I'm also sure that he wants to get more draft picks any way possible after this, and that would be more than likely through trading back, even though the problem is, even as much as we want to trade back, who wants to trade up? Our best bet is for a guy like Jackson Dart to slide all the way to 29, and then maybe somebody wants to trade up so they can get that 5th year, contract option that you can get on rookie players that you draft in the first round only. No second rounders, no third rounders, nobody else, just only first round players. That's our best bet if we're hoping that we can trade back in this draft. And speaking of trading back, how about if we do, we make sure we at least snag either Amarian Hampton, Travion Henderson, or Quinton Junkins when we do it. And if we don't trade back, I'm assuming it's probably edge rusher at 29, because an elite talent with maybe some red flags may fall down to us like a top 10 talent, like a James Pierce off the field concerns. Big ones. Michael Williams, production concerns, but even though, there's reports that maybe he was actually hurt way worse than people thought and he was just playing through it. That's why his production slipped last year. As a Georgia Bulldog, I'm gonna make sure I cape for my guys, man. I'm like this for my Georgia Bulldogs, man. You can't tell me nothing. Michael Williams is a top 5 talent in this draft. Argue with a wall. Same thing with Jalen Walker. Injury concerns, he's hurt right now. Like, he can't even participate in our upcoming pro day that we're about to have, I believe. And then also, outside of games against Texas, his production was pretty inconsistent, and there's also concerns about him being a tweener. We'll see how far he falls in the draft. Then you have Shamar Stewart. Huge production concerns. Man can't get more than a half a sack every year in college, even with that freakish athleticism. And then Mike Williams, lack of competition. You never know. I mean, there are all sorts of other players and position groups that people are trying to get in the draft. Maybe one of those edge rushers falls to us, and then maybe we'll just take him at 29. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and trade back. Or maybe you'll use that 2nd round pick we still have to trade for Trey Hendrickson. Who knows? We'll see. Either way, though, George Carby brings up a good point, too. He said, one thing I'll say, Adam Peters doesn't orchestrate his moves at all. No one mentioned Kinlaw or Tunsil all week at all. I never heard even any reports of them being attached to us. It's Fort Knox over there in Ashburn, as it should be. I agree. I love it. I mean, Adam Peters, I don't know how he did all of this in absolute silence, man. Nobody knows where this came from. That guy is cooking behind the scenes. Shouts out to my boy Rant Burgundy. He said, bro, nobody even knew Tunsil was on the block. This is like real big boy franchise stuff here. Like, we have grown men in the front office, basically. And then George Carmy said, exactly. And I also love having a really good left tackle again. It's been a while, you know what I'm saying? I also thought that this was funny, too, because Resh Manuel pointed out the fact that Adam Peters is basically just trying to gradually cut out agent middlemen, basically, because now Bobby Wagner and Laremy Tunsil are players that represent themselves and no agents. So, hey, man, maybe Adam Peters is like, yeah, we trying to skip over the whole agent thing, you know what I'm saying? Of course, that's just a joke, but I just thought that was a pretty cool observation as well. So now, our remaining draft picks for the next 2 drafts, 2025, we have a 1st, 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 7th, and then 2026, we have a 1st, 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th as well. Again, the fact that we still have our 1st, first in both drafts. We still have our second in this upcoming draft, and even our third in next year's draft. And we were able to get a top 3, top 5 at worst left tackle in the NFL is insane. And he's still only 30 years old. Also, shouts out to @We1 Dallas. He said, with the picks being a little light as present, we'd love for them to get a little more aggressive this free agency cycle. Gonna be hard to find starters via the draft if only 4 day 1 and 2 picks over the next couple of years. And that's a good point. I mean, you've already dipped your toe into being aggressive. Why not go full blown head first diving in? So let's keep it going. So again, I'll remind you, is Trey Hendrickson still potentially on the table? And now, just to give y'all a final, little update up to this point, and again, I'm going to do a Javon Kinlaw video very soon, but now we've re-signed Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, John Bates, Zane Gonzalez, and Tress Way. We've traded for Deebo Samuel, Laremy Tunsil. We've signed Javon Kinlaw, and then now De'Ami Brown and Jeremy Chin have already gone to other teams, and we cut Jonathan Allen, and it looks like Jonathan Allen will probably go to the Vikings. He's supposed to be meeting with them today or something like that. Just let you know, De'Ami Brown went to the Jaguars for way more money than I was willing to give up, and Jeremy Chin went to the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. And now, I mean, at this point, my favorite 2 options by far available in free agency are Travarius Ward at corner, Javon Holland at safety, and then like a distant third, maybe Dre Greenlaw at linebacker. I love his potential. I just don't think that he would want to come here because we already have Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louisville, and this organization is already very high on Jordan McGee, but I would still love to bring him aboard. I just don't think it's realistic. But as far as safety, we got to replace Jeremy Chin. Corner, I still feel like we definitely need corner. I think they want Mike Sarver still back inside, so we need a corner opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, and I don't think you're going to be able to find that in the first 2 rounds of the draft, especially since we still need edge rusher and running back in the worst way. So, hey man, we got to figure something out here. We still arguably need defensive tackle because, again, in my Javon Kinlaw video, I'm going to break down why I think they may be trying to move him to edge rusher to be a dominant run stopping edge rusher rather than just a really good pass rushing defensive tackle. So we're probably still looking for defensive tackle in a very deep defensive tackle class. A good time to find one in the draft, especially like 3rd round or later. We'll see. But either way, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. As you can see, Adam Peters behind me right here, man. Hey, that guy was probably making that face when he was on the phone calling about Laremy Tunsil, and man, he a different type of guy for getting that trade to go through, especially for what it went through. And then also, I mean, we talked about the contract and the cap space that he's taking up, but I don't think people really realize that we have one of the best left tackles in all of football only making $21.3 million a year right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure by 2026, after this year, we're going to have to extend him to way bigger money, but at least for 2025, he's making less than like an average left tackle. He's one of the 3 best. It's insane. So, of course, I'm asking y'all in the comment section, please let me know how you feel about the trade. Do you feel like the Commanders are done? But most importantly, how do you feel about Laremy Tunsil himself? At 30 years old, do you still feel like he's, like me, the best left tackle we've had easily since Trent Williams? Do you feel like he's a franchise elite left tackle that can be here at least for the next 4 or 5 years playing at a very high level? Do you agree with me that he's a top 3 at worst, top 5 left tackle in the NFL? Do you also like the draft capital that we gave up to get him? Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Of course, let me know if you feel like we're done. Do you still want to go trade for Trey Hendrickson if he's only costing us like 30? I mean, only 30 is a lot, but still, if he's costing us $30 million a year rather than more than what Max Crosby got at 35.5, and then maybe you can get him for a second round pick, our second round pick that we still have. Are you willing to do that? And who are your top free agents that are available right now that you still want to target? Mine is Travarius Ward and Javon Holland, but let me know how y'all feel about that. And maybe you can even throw Cooper Kupp in there as well. I'd be down for a really cheap Cooper Kupp starting in the slot for us. I'm super down for that. So let me know how y'all feel about everything. Of course, make sure you leave a like on the way out. Again, I'm gonna have y'all updated on everything. I'm working on Javon Kinlaw video as soon as I'm done editing this and getting this out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.